This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. Bruchim Aboim. Thanks. Good to see everybody back. Good to be back with everybody. We're finishing up Daf Yud Gimel. Daf Yud Gimel. We're up to Siman Ches, and we're up to Seif Daled. In Siv Gimel, we learned about by a Talis Katan, even though there's no Ituf, you're yoytzei the chiyuv of tzitzis. Now the Mishna Berura said earlier that nowhere in the Torah is there any remez to the idea of atifa. Nevertheless, we do try to practice atifa, but on a Talis Katan you're yoytzei the chiyuv of tzitzis even without atifa. It is correct, the Mechaber said, to be misatef. The Mishna Berura said that those who are noyeg not to make a bracha at all on the Talis Katan, then there is no reason lehisatef by, which implied that the only reason to do ituf would be for the bracha. Okay, let's see Siv Dalet. Machzer shtei tzitzios lefanav v'shtayim la'acharav kedei shehei mesoivay v'mitzvahs. Position two tzitzis before you, two behind you, so that you should be surrounded with mitzvahs. Says the Mishna Berura of Katan has tzitzios, Noagu lasis atara mechatichas meshi l'simin sha'oisan tzitzis shalafanav yu la'olam lafanav. The minhag is to make a atara from a piece of silk as a siman that the tzitzis that are in front of you should always be in front of you. Like Chazal say, K'may Shamru Chazal, Keresh shazacha bat safain haya la'olam bat safain. The plank in the Mishkan that was in the north always remained in the north. Uvekisei Arizal Kasav Shaloi Arizal Makbid al Zeh. In the writings of the Ari, it's written that Ari was not makbid on this. Now, the Dirshu brings down that the Mishna Berura says in Siman Yotz of Katan Lam Gimel, don't say the reason to make an atar in the talis is because the ikar of the talis is l'ksus harosh, because the ikar beged is the beged that is made to cover the head is pater from tzitzis. It's only, the reason for an atara is only that you always remember to position the tzitzis that are in front of you should always remain in front of you. Should a person have a atara of silver and gold? Can a person have an atara of silver and gold? Is it permitted to? The Aruch HaShulchan says you should not, because it looks like you're making the ikar of the atifas harosh, and it's not true. The ikar is the chelek on the guf. Now, that's why Rebbes, they have an atara by the rosh, and also they have a in the middle. So you should go to your father-in-law and tell him, get me a atara, many thousands of dollars on the rosh, and also on the guf. Better yet, tell him not to get you an atara at all. This way you have no problems. That's the minhag yeshivos. The minhag b'nei Ashkenaz of b'nei yeshivos is not to have an atara on the talis. Based on this Aruch HaShulchan, the Gurs Moshe says from Achronim, we see you could have an atara of gold or silver, and everyone should follow their own minhag. Why was the Arizal not makbid to have an atara to indicate that you should put the tzitzis in the front should always remain in the front? The Dirshu brings down that even though the Yushalmi says regarding ordering the krushim that the keresh in the north always remained in the north, the Ben Ish Chai says that that's because there is a certain kedusha of each direction, which is not noigeya when it comes to tzitzis, and that's the reason for the Arizal. Lamaisa, in a Talis Katan, you could also be makbid on this. My Talis Katan, I have a little, I have an insignia, it has a little tag in the front, keser. So this way I know, the tzitzis in the front always go in the front. Again, it's not a absolute halachic imperative. The Arizal himself was not makbid, but the Mishna Berura brings such an inyan. Okay, Sif Hey, Mevarich Lehisatef Bid Tzitzis. Says the Mishna Berura, bishva tachas habev, with a shva under the beis. Not like the Bach and Rabbi Yaakov Emden and the Shla. And the Malbim and the Shulchan Harav that you say batzitzis. Meaning, not like most achronim. Most achronim you say, lehesatef batzitzis. The Mishna Berura says you should say, lehesatef bitzitzis. So, what do you have in your siddur? In my siddur I have lehesatef batzitzis. Now I'm using over here the Maslik Midrash siddur. Anybody know what does it say? 1 second. Rabbi Yeager, you're there? Batzitzis. That's, I would have thought that. The Maslik Midrash says batzitzis. In the siddur that Rabbi Yeager gave me, it says batzitzis, but the Mishna Berura says bitzitzis. Now, the word batzitzis l'chara means in the tzitzis. What's the tzitzis? With tzitzis. What's the tzitzis? Okay, but the Mishna Berura says bitzitzis. Let's see the Mechaber continues. If 2 or 3 people are wrapping the talis simultaneously, perish b'pamachas, kulam mevarchim. They all make a bracha. That means like this. You have a bunch of people in the shul, and they're all making the bracha at the same time, then they all make the bracha. In other words, the imratzu, and if they want, echad mevarich v'acherim yanu amen. One guy can make the bracha, and everyone else answers amen. Says the Mishna Berura, ke'achas. Perush doesn't mean they're all wrapping in one talis. Perush kol echad mesatif b'talis miyuchad. Each one wraps himself in a designated talis, in their own talis. Everyone's doing it at one time. As opposed to if it's after Kedei Dibur, l'berchasai, to have a hefsek. Meaning everyone is about to put on the talis at the exact same time. So the question is, do we say B'roi Vam Hajas Melech, one guy makes the bracha and bizmoisi everyone, or should everyone do it on their own? So the Mechaber says, they all make the bracha. V'tzarch kol echel levarech la'atzmai. In a case where there's going to be a hefsek, everyone has to make their own bracha. V'ayin l'kaman sim reish vav sif gimel. V'imratzu. Now, what would you say is the preferred course of action? Is it better for everyone to make the bracha? And if they want, and it says if they want, one person makes and is Motzi everyone. The implication, it says, from this Lashon Mashna, everyone should make the bracha themselves. And ask the Mishna Berura, v'emes, adirabba, pink fakert, l'chadchila yoser toiv, she'echad yivarech, v'yoytzi esachirim, mishum beroivam, hadras melech, ukilakaman misim reish salichasiv yadalid. Really, it's better whenever you're in a situation of a mitzvah, one person makes the bracha and everyone is yotzi. That's why Friday night, the father makes kiddush, is motzi everybody, including Pesach. The best halachic approach is beroiv am hadras melech. You have a minhag that every single person makes kiddush. Okay, that's your minhag. You want to know halachically what's the better course of action? The better course of action is beroiv am hadras melech. But you see, even here, where the Mishna Berura is saying that adarabba, the ikar is that one person should make the bracha, but that's not the minhag. Why not? It could be it's because not everybody knows how to be mechaben, to be moitzi others, and to be yotzi themselves. So, if you want, one makes the bracha be moitzi everyone, even if they're bekiyim, that one person can see everyone. Furthermore, even if the mavarich, he already made the bracha himself, or he's not even rapping, Yachal lahaitzi achem beverchasai. Dechol Yisrael arevim zelazeh. Amazing. You could have a bunch of people putting on a talis, and one guy in the shul in the back eating a lollipop, and one person make the bracha. He said, "I'll make the bracha." He said, "You're not putting on a talis." Yeah, it's like I'm putting on a talis because B'roivam hajas melech. So this is very interesting because when you're mechuyev to do a mitzvah, it's like I'm mechuyev. The thing is, you're not mechuyev. You don't have a chiyuv to put on a talis. It's only if you're wearing a talis, you have to put on dalit kanfos, but you don't have a chiyuv. So the Pri Megadim says, in Sivkat and Ches, quotes the Dershu, that even though there's no chiyuv to wear a beged of dalit kanfos, so then you could argue, then this is like Berchas Hananin. We don't say Arvos Berchas Hananin, right? If you ate and you need to bench, I can't bench for you. If I didn't eat, I can't bench for you. But you're mechuyev to bench. Yeah, but you're only mechuyev to bench because you were nene. But I wasn't nene, and I'm not mechuyev to be nene. By Berchas HaNenen, we don't say Kol Yisrael Revim Zelazeh. So, l'choira, by a Berchas HaMitzvah, that you're not mechuyev, I should not be able to moitzi you. So the chiddush is, but by tzitzis is a din of arvos, and even though you're not technically mechuyev, I can be moitzi you. So the question is, why? Why? What's the difference? What's the difference between Berchas HaNenen and tzitzis, which is a Berchas HaMitzvah, which is not a mitzvah chiyuvis? So Rav Shlomo Zalman says like this: by Berchas HaNenen, we tell you, Loi l'shani v'loi levarech. Who told you to eat? Why are you eating? You're mechuyev to eat? Not mechuyev to eat. You wanted to eat. So I'm not orev for you because you decided to eat. But when it comes to a mitzvah, there's a din of arvas to assist anyone who wants to do a good deed. Therefore, even though you're not obligated to do a good deed, but I'm your partner in performing good deeds. It's not doimel l'berchas hanenen. Interesting. However, if you're not wrapping, the Mishna Berura says, "Ach b'zeh yesh omrim de'enoi moitze ela dafka mi she'enoi baki." It could be that if you're not wrapping yourself in the talis, you should only be moitze someone who is not a baki in making the bracha. Kasav Pri Megadim. Im kama anoshim kanu talisim chadashim. If many people bought new talisim, va'asu behem tzitzis, v'loi berchu shechiyanu, dimavarchim be'itav rishain. There's a halacha. If you buy a new garment and you place the tzitzis on it, the first time you wear it, you make shechiyanu. Granted, one can make l'satef for everyone. Everyone should make their own shechiyanu. You'll ask, but by tkiyah shofar, the toikeya is moitzi everyone in shechiyanu. So why don't we say the same thing for tzitzis? So Rav Shlomo Zalman again says that by shechiyanu on tkiyah shofar, it's a bracha on the simchas hamitzvah. So we're all equal. So one can moitzi everyone. By the shechiyanu levishas beged chadash, it's not a uniform happiness. I'm happy in my garment, you're happy in your garment. It's sort of, each person has a distinctive simcha. It's not a shared simcha, and you cannot be moitzi shechiyanu. Accordingly, says Rav Shlomo Zalman, let's say I get a new pomegranate and I slice it up and I give to everyone, and we all need to make a shechiyanu. It's better, says Rav Shlomo Zalman, for one person to make a shechiyanu and be moitzi everybody. Why? Because everyone is happy shehigia, the new zman for this fruit. But if we're eating different fruits, so everyone has a different hana, then it's dafka better that everyone makes their own shechiyanu, says Rav Shlomo Zalman. Okay, one more. Yanu amen. So Mishna Berura is bothered by a kasha. I need the mechaber to tell me you have to answer amen on a bracha. All of a sudden now, this is the This is where the Shulchan Aruch chooses to say, you answer Amen. Everybody knows you have to answer Amen. After Balafach, Yitzchak La'anes Amen, Achar Kol Bracha, Mikol Makom, Bezu, Sharoitza, Lotzis, Ba'achiv Yoyser. In this case, where you want to be Yoytzei, the Chiyuv, where he's being Motzi you in a Bracha. It's not just he's saying a Bracha and you're answering Amen. He's being Motzi you. Shemoira Bezeh B'fal, Shemaskam Lotzis Ba. You're demonstrating that you're Mechaven to be Yoytzei. So you should answer Amen. Miu b'diavad afil lo yana Amen yatsa. Very important yesod. If someone's being Motzi you in a bracha and you don't answer Amen, you're still yotzei. The bracha kil kaman b'sim reish yud gimel sif beis. Interesting halacha in siman reish yud tes. If let's say today in shul, I don't know, it must be a lot of people came back from Eretz Yisrael, one after another. Could one person be bench goymo for everyone? Yes. But if you don't answer Amen, you're not yotzei. The Mishna Berura just said that you don't have to answer Amen for someone to be Motzi you. The Bir Halacha says in the name of Rabbi Akiva Eger, the Shoimeya cannot say Asher Gemalcha. In other words, how would somebody be Motzi someone else in Goimel? You say Bracha Asher Gemalcha Kol Tov. Not Shegemalani Kol Tov. Asher Gemalcha Kol Tov. So the Shomea can't say Asher Gemalcha. So he can't be Yotzei with the mitzvah Midin Shomea Koina. He could only be Yotzei with answering Amen. Now, why can't he be Motzi by the guy saying Shagamalani Kol Tov? If that's what he would say, then you could be Motzi without answering Amen. Okay, Rabbi, so we'll hold it over here. Wishing everyone a wonderful day. Kol Tov. We'll see everybody Monday, Mirz Hashem.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.